This is Spiritual Souls Sliding Sideways, Chapter 30, A Choice to Be Stronger. I can be stronger. I continue to learn. Weakness is my challenge. Comprehension is my goal. I have come to realize there's nothing in this world that will always prepare us for the worst. We can plan all we want and still fail to be ready for most or all of life's challenges. I have never found a way to deal with life. I feel weaker because of certain things I must deal with. I know how to put on a brave face and get through things. The combination of natural disasters on the inside never ceases to exist. The greatest challenge in life is paying attention to our surroundings. We are born into a world where we have always needed to commit. We must often engage in tasks that we prefer to avoid. We can run away from facing life, but it does not help us endure. We can learn to endure, but it does not help us feel strong enough to make it through this life. I looked for anything to help me endure. This life is repetitive and demanding. I never found anything to help me build mental and emotional strength in life. There is never enough in this life to help us get through it. There are too many things in life that demand our energy, emotions, and mentality. We will always suffer in some way. We will keep moving through this life with our own individual scars. No one is free from the different torments life has to offer. Everyone, in some way, will experience the nightmare life can become. We either push forward in life or we choose to die. We can choose how we respond to life, but sometimes how we respond is not in our control. We all reach for power and control in our own way. We can never completely gain what we are looking for because there will always be something we lack. It can seem like someone or something has what we are missing. What is life meant to be? It seems like we are born to be incomplete in many ways. We all have doubt, fear, and different types of insecurities. If we were capable of being strong enough to get through this life, then it would not be a challenge. Some people may seem made to make it through this world. No one can handle living through this exhausting life. Our reliance on others exists even when it is not straightforward. A person can think they are doing it all on their own. People delude themselves when they think they can make it through life alone. If it only took one person, then the necessity of anyone else would be unnecessary. A person who stands alone would not need workers at a grocery store. A person would not need people to kill animals for food if they stand alone. If we could get through this life alone, we would not depend on others to provide what we need. True self-sufficiency means that people can always provide for themselves. Self-sufficiency would have no need for people or things. We all depend on others even when we choose not to acknowledge it. We are always surrounded by life. We cannot navigate this life without some form of dependency. Self-sufficiency means being able to create what we need from nothing. Magical powers would make us super independent. Strong enough is a divine thought when we believe we can do it all alone. It is arrogant for anyone to say they did not use someone or something to accomplish their goals. We all need something or someone in life. We will never be strong enough alone. What would true strength look like? True strength would look like the absolute need for nothing ever. A true symbol of strength would be a rock. A rock exists without anyone adding to it or taking anything away. We as human beings are incapable of being strong enough without others. We need things and people for different things all the time. There may come a time in life when we need someone to change our diapers in our old age. We should acknowledge what and who we are. We will be better off when we realize the extent of our innate dependence on life for our survival. Would we genuinely want to be the last person on earth? What would that feel like? How would our mind confront the experience of pointless solitude? Even if we were the last person on earth, we would still depend on things to help us live to get to the end of our lives. We should focus less on being strong enough and focus more on being as strong as we can be. We should focus on being as self-sufficient as we can be. Throughout my whole life, I have faced pressures about who I should be. This life has gotten to me, and I feel like less of a person. This world does not teach us to be the best we can be. This life always pushes us to be beyond ourselves. We may want it to be simple. I believe that they push everyone too hard. Everyone seems to want a simple life full of less stress and complications. Human motivation often stems from a desire for financial security and basic needs. I have always wanted to see humanity thrive for knowledge and understanding. What do you think is more valuable, a financial guarantee or an emotional and mental one? I would want an emotional and mental guarantee. I may never be able to be strong enough, but I can add to how strong I can be. If I had a greater emotional and mental stability, I would find it easier to cope with and manage life. We can always attempt to be better. We can attempt to be perfect. We only need to try to be the best we can be. The randomness of this world is a guarantee of chaos and not order. We are organizing chaos, which will lead us to feel weak. People always need to organize chaos. Order will always take energy. Our needs, wants, and necessities in this life will always take energy away from us in some way. We can try, thrive, and keep up, but sooner or later we will feel the need to stop. Repetitiveness in life can break us until we feel too weak to carry on. We may have come to Earth to know what it is like to be at a disadvantage. This planet is a place that can show us how many ways a human can fail. We can succeed at some things, we can fail at other things. This planet will show us that we can never be enough in life. When we are never enough, we will always have some kind of weakness. When we have weakness, we usually focus on what we cannot do. When we focus on what we cannot do, we will find ourselves with greater self-doubt. When we have self-doubt, we may stop doing things we can do. When we stop doing things we can do, we lose sight of what we can do that is good. We can feel like we are good at nothing. We can lose our self-confidence towards all things. I like to focus on what I am good at and not what I cannot do. I have discovered that if I stay focused on what I am good at, it matters the most. I can improve on what I am good at. It does not matter if what I am good at is not important to the world. All that matters is that I am happy with what I am good at. I do not need approval from others. I want to be good enough for myself. I do not need to be good enough for anyone else. When I try to be good enough for someone else, I will be climbing the mountain of expectations. When I am good enough for me, I will make improvements at my own pace. I will always do better when I do not care what anyone else thinks is good enough. I only need to understand that I can be good enough without the opinions of others. I can be strong enough and successful as I believe I should be. I might not be able to be the strongest, but I can focus on doing my best. The world will challenge us. There will always be worldly things we are not the best at. The world is not focused on building confidence. The world only focuses on how we can keep the production of this life going. The world does not care about how we can improve. The world does not care about what is best for us. The world only cares about what will keep life moving forward. We need to be able to stop, contemplate, and focus on things that will help us. The world does not care about what we need to focus on and what we need to do to be better. We are born into a world that needs to use us. When the world cannot use us, we lose our value in its sight. We are good enough no matter what. We are valuable even when the world tells us we are not good enough for it. The world telling us we are not good enough is the same as still telling us we are not hard enough. The still might put us down and tell us how we need to be harder to be a part of what it takes to survive. Still is cold and uncaring. Still does not care if we live or die. Still is self-sufficient beyond us. So if still could ask us to be like it, It would be the same as the world asking us to conform more than we can. When the world asks us to conform, we must realize that the world is a very cold place. There is a saying about the survival of the fittest. I agree with that saying. The world only cares about what it can gain from us and less about our individual talents. Our innate talents may not be useful in a world that only cares about gain. We may not get better at worldly survival. We can focus on our individual needs. We are born surviving from day one. We will always stay focused on survival. The funniest part of life is that we all survive long enough to die. Death is the final joke on us. We do all we can to be the best while we live. When we die, everything we did will not stop death. We are not good enough and strong enough to defeat death. Death is non-biased. Death does not care how good we are and how well we have done. Death does not care how many hours we have put into anything. Death does not care how committed and stable we are. The truth of life is death. We all live in vain. We move forward in life and try not to suffer, but we will suffer. Human suffering can make us selfish. We as a species have learned to use others so we can suffer less. Throughout history, people have exploited those with less understanding. We have become a species that has become good at using one another to be great in our own eyes. Even though we all live in vain, we still desire creature comforts. We want to be comfortable. We want to be the best and have the best creature comforts we can obtain. We strive for what is always better. We are often swept away by what brings us comfort. We can settle for fewer creature comforts in life. We can be rich and obtain all of life's creature comforts. We may feel like we are not important. We must realize that all parts of life are important. We can feel like we could fade away. The impact on this world would be small if we died. We are more important than the impact we leave behind. The more creature comforts we have, the more worldly we become. We may forget how important we are. We may have convinced ourselves that all we are is all we can be. The world seems to encourage pushing people down. The world pushes people down because not all people have what it takes to survive. As long as there are poor people, there will always be someone to serve the rich. There is nothing wrong with being rich or poor. The problem is, and has always been, how one human being treats another. How we treat each other matters. Some of us can handle more and some can handle less in life. I have questioned many times why there are so many different types of people. We all have a mind to learn. Individual minds may only advance so far in life. Why are there so many different levels created here on earth? What lessons are we meant to learn while we exist at earthly levels? What lessons should we take from the different ways life can break us? It would be nice if I knew what the lessons were behind my existence. I could use the advantage of comprehending life's lessons at any given time. This life and all its mysteries have always seemed to serve a purpose. Many lessons in this life are about how one person can take advantage of another. We are stuck on this planet. This world reveals the complete appearance of ignorance. It is not our fault we are born without real knowledge. It is not our fault we all were not born geniuses. It is our fault when we choose not to continue learning. We need help to make our lives make sense. We fail in life only when we do not attempt to learn. We need to learn to cope and deal with life. We are successful when we learn anything at all that helps us push forward to a new day. We do not need to learn something positive or negative. We do not need to learn anything specific in this life. We need to keep on learning anything that can help us have better comprehension. Comprehension is the clarity of understanding. This world judges us on how much we learn and how much we can recall. True intelligence is not what you can learn and regurgitate back into existence. True intelligence is when we can think for ourselves and add to ourselves. We need to improve ourselves and the world around us. True intelligence is when we can comprehend something and know how to add to it. When we learn something and reshape it, we demonstrate true intelligence. Almost anyone can learn something and repeat it. Not everyone can learn something and learn how to improve on it. True intelligence means learning and understanding all the parts of what we study. We need to focus on what we can do. We need to realize that true survival is not the dependency on the world. True survival is being able to depend on ourselves to push forward. Some people's greatest success in life is choosing to live. We can pretend that we can be strong enough in this flesh. We can try to beat death and aging. The flesh is not currently strong enough to stop a bullet. I gave up on being strong enough. I gave up on being the best. I came to realize that those who wanted the best labels created those labels. If 1,000 pounds were the weightlifting standard, I might have lost before I even started. We cannot live up to labels. Those who believe they possess true intelligence create labels. Intelligence is more than being smarter than others. We created labels for the order. People have used labels since the beginning of time to rank others. We should only ever accept a label as a definition of what we should do, not who we should be. We should not accept a label as a fact of who we are. We all are more than the sum of our parts. We are a part of universal existence. We may not remember what this existence is. I've always felt that deep down we hold universal knowledge that we might have chosen to forget. We can base this life on many different levels. We can base this life on abilities and willingness. This life has always revolved around human ignorance and selfishness. We can base this life on the levels of chosen ignorance and selfishness. We should understand that we all were born to learn. We need to figure out why some people learn easily while others struggle. Since this life is not all there is to existence, it makes me wonder how this point in time even matters. I pray to understand why life is organized as it is. People lose the purpose of life in translation and due to a lack of comprehension. True comprehension is when we can see the purpose, use, and order of anything. We comprehend something fully when we understand its place in existence. Since we are born knowing less than nothing, simple learning does not make life better. Only when we comprehend things in life does it make life worth living. When we can see how all the pieces fit together is when we can understand our true place in life. It is like a puzzle we might put together. When a puzzle is complete, do we understand the order in which it was assembled? Is knowing life's end results important? Once we can comprehend, we can then appreciate the importance of everything in life. I've often thought about why even the smartest people find it hard to grasp the universal order. We must live full lives. To do this, we must accept that we won't have the steady strength of a rock. We need to understand that what we can be good at only requires self-value and not the world's value. We can feel weaker when we compare ourselves to the world. We only need to survive in this world and then die. We do not need to speed up our death because it is going to happen anyway. We can have feelings and certain mental difficulties that may make us want to end our lives. We need to understand that all negative things in life are our challenges. We have not yet comprehended true universal order. True universal order is the ultimate goal. When we can get to a place of comprehension is when we can get to a place of acceptance. Acceptance and comprehension are when we see our place and we see the place of things in the world. We grasp the universe's purpose and function when we find acceptance and understanding. I know how far I am from full comprehension and acceptance. I will still be as open as I can be to be capable of comprehending even the smallest things. I found it is better to grasp something fully than just to get the basics. Non-continuing comprehension is when we can learn 2 plus 2, but not 4 plus 4. Comprehension is a step toward being stronger than we are. We might not understand everything in life, but gaining new insights can enrich our lives. Continued learning is the best we can do. We can live our whole lives and still only have so much comprehension. I know for myself that I try to find new ways to understand the world around me. The more I can comprehend the world, the more I can accept the way it is and always has been. I do not need to approve of everything. When I can comprehend life, I can at least know why things are the way they are. I fall short in a world that has fallen short. In this life, we don't really progress. We only gain knowledge and understanding. I believe the only thing we can take with us when we die is knowledge and comprehension. I know that what I will take with me when I die is also how blind and deaf this world can seem. I keep an open mind. To me, an open mind is when we allow all concepts to exist and then choose what works for us. I may not agree with everything in life. I do not rule anything out, even when it seems bizarre and crazy. Crazy thoughts can be true. I believe it is healthy to be eccentric in this life. We should never force our beliefs on others, but it never hurts to share them. I allow what others believe to be part of my changing consideration. I find an ever-changing mind is growth. Mental, emotional, and spiritual growth happens when we learn what will help us. I live a life full of need. I live a life where I can only hope to arrive at perfection. I know I will always fall short in one area or another. I have been through some hard things. I have experienced a life where I had to leave behind what I was going through. I comprehend the many different levels of each human being. I understand this world design, and I accept what it has always been. I cannot be more than I am. I will not be a toaster when I am a pan. I can call myself a toaster, but it does not change that I am a pan. I will always be what reality constructed me to be. I am not against what anyone wants to believe. I feel sane when I follow a function order in life. Things may not always make sense on the inside, but I do not need reality to match my messy insides. I do not need to depend on the world to reinforce how I feel and what I believe. What I believe and feel only needs to matter to me. I give my power away when I depend on others to confirm who and what I am. I need to be able to be who I am. I need to be able to discover who I am without seeking approval. I can be as strong as I can be when I care about my opinion. I can be strong when I listen and consider what others have to say. There will always be things I need to improve. There will always be things I need to get better at. I will not allow the world to dictate when and how I get better. I know how to dance as well as anyone else. I refer to dancing as doing what I need to do, even when I do not want to do it. I know it does not matter how good I feel about anything to survive another day. I know it does not matter if I am sick and tired. I know the world has one demand, and that is for me to conform to get what I want and need. I accept conformity in this life for survival purposes only. I do not accept conformity when it comes to my own personal growth. I do my best to separate my spiritual conformity and the timing of it from the world. I will be as strong as I am. I will be as strong as I can become. I will do my best to be my best. What I will be between my birth and death is the best I can be for myself and others. I know I was born into a struggle, and I do my best to turn it into a challenge. I try not to dictate to others, and I do not like others dictating to me. Only I can discover how strong and how good I can be. It is not for someone else to decide who I can be. It is my challenge to get to know myself and to try to understand others. I won't let others define me, especially when they likely don't understand themselves. A strong sense of identity means less need to judge others. The only way to know who we are is to understand, comprehend, and accept our place in life. A person who has finally accepted their place in life will understand that everyone has a place. When we understand that everyone has a place, we will not ask them to move from their place. Would we want to be so arrogant as to tell the sun where it belongs? We understand the sun and its place in the universe and comprehend why it exists. Comprehension brings forth understanding. Understanding can take the place of judgment and ignorance. This is Spiritual Soul Sliding Sideways Epilogue. I hope in some way you have been able to get new information for your journey. I hope that your journey for knowledge and understanding can ever grow and open you up. I hope that you can change in a wonderful number of ways that will help you grow. There are many ways to learn something, and we all have room for improvement. The knowledge we pick up in life can add to our journey no matter what we learn. Life is simple. It is living it that is hard. Life can take its toll. The challenge we all face will never end. We will always have suffering and suffer some lack of understanding. Our beliefs and thoughts change with each piece of information we take in. We learn to change and we change to cope. We can learn to cope and continue coping effectively. It does not matter how much we know. What matters is that we can adapt to life and new knowledge. No matter how much knowledge we gain, there will always be something we cannot explain. The mysteries of this life have many unknown numbered pieces. There will always be someone who understands something better. There will always be a new concept introduced. We need to realize the journey was always meant to leave us guessing. I believe we were never meant to get to the end of knowledge in this life on earth. I can only imagine a world where anyone has gained absolute universal knowledge. May you easily learn the lessons that fill your continued journey. May your comprehension reach a level to gain new knowledge. Let's seek true intelligence to better appreciate and value our lives. May we grow in ways that help us surrender. May we surrender to what is new and better for us all. May we have acceptance and wisdom for what is better. We will live life and take with us what we have learned. When we have died, I believe we will still learn. Continued learning about life on earth depends on experiences after death. We move forward, and may we continue to value new knowledge. May we all appreciate the value of a better way to live. Let us always look for ways to challenge our beliefs. When we need to, we should replace our beliefs with new ones. We must test these new beliefs for truth. We test our beliefs by seeking out what conflicts with our beliefs. Conflict challenges what we believe. Challenges can test our beliefs. We can find their truth if we stay open to having our beliefs questioned. You can question my belief that a tree is a tree, but it doesn't change anything. A tree stays a tree, and that makes my belief true. I hope all can grow and live. May we never get enough knowledge. May we start to live a better life. We live and learn. We grow and move on. We choose and make choices that will help bring us less suffering, I hope. I hope in some way I have helped to bring less suffering to this world. The world always seems to have new ways for us to suffer. We will always be stuck in the middle, and we will always try to find solutions when we're curious about a better life. We need to try to improve on old solutions. Everyone reading this is most likely trying to make life better. The journey of life is full of winding and combining different strands of string. Each color is like a word in a sentence. We may only mix some colors of string together. When we have a strong desire to learn, we will take all colors of string and try to combine them to see the results. I stay curious, and I hope you do too. I hope to improve my life and others. I hope you can allow yourself to accept help and find a way to help others. The journey is never over, as I believe we will live and die and go on and on. I do not understand it all. I will continue to learn. I will not blame my choices on ignorance. I do believe we all have a lot of ignorance. I believe ignorance is an opportunity to learn. May we all continue to learn, grow, and one day may we die well and move on to greater knowledge. Live well, move on, and try to give all you can. Do the best you can with the knowledge you have, and accept what it takes for you to learn new knowledge.